Good morning, everyone. It's a gorgeous morning here in Florida again, although it is a bit humid. There goes my first director, the executive director of my show. She has a lot of opinions about it, I can tell you that. It's humid, it's hot, so we're going to make this short. It's at like 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Thank you, good morning. Thank you for the like button. And so we're going to keep this kind of short today. My hair will probably go just because it's so humid. So anyway, you blew the diet. Yes? Or you had a weekend that you had some celebration, birthdays, holidays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, you got together with a bunch of people, and there was all kinds of foods that are normally not on your diet or your food plan, and you ate them all, and now what? I can tell you what you did in the past, and it didn't work, but you keep doing it anyway. One, you wouldn't criticize yourself over and over again. Why did I do that? What's wrong with me? How come I can't stay on this diet? I'll never be able to lose this weight, blah, 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 blah. Keep going down the rabbit hole. Yes. And so you have that tendency, you want to do that again today. Yes. And wouldn't weigh yourself. Big mistake. And then third, you made some real radical decision about what you're going to do today. Maybe it's Monday, maybe it's the first day after vacation, maybe it's the first day after a holiday or a celebration. And she's very busy today. She's got a lot to do to be the executive director of this program. So here's the 3 things you don't want to do. Stop criticizing yourself, don't weigh yourself, and don't make radical changes to your food program. So in other words, what I mean by that is, 1, stop the criticism. Stop the judgment. Thin people, naturally thin people, skinny people go off their programs. The whole COVID-19 thing was a real thing, and people who normally don't have eating issues, cravings, whatnot, have been overeating. People who were thin have been overeating. Nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with eating to help cope in that scenario when we're a bug just landed on me. When we're in a stressful situation, what we're trying to do is help you learn to cope differently than eating like you used to, so that you can cope differently. However, there's gonna be celebrations of life, and what is more, I don't know if it's the most important thing, but what is most happening during celebrations of life, birthdays and holidays and going on vacation, is you eat foods that are not on your food program. You may eat a lot, you may eat just a little, you may have an extra glass of wine, you may have an extra cocktail. It's different. And because it's different, and because us chronic dieters go, oh my gosh, I just blown my diet again, I just fell off the wagon, I'm off my diet, we make this big drama about how we're horrible and we'll never get it right and we're always going to be fat. And so in order to fix that, and this is partially your brain doing this with you, this is partially your mind doing this with you, I need to fix it. Now, naturally thin people, what they will do, kicking off my shoes so I can be in the grass, what naturally thin people will do is they'll just go back to their normal eating. What chronic dieters do is they skip breakfast, they skip lunch, and they only have dinner. So by dinner, they're starving. Or they make radical changes to their food plan, cutting back, only eating salad for a day, only eating, only eating certain foods. So it's so completely radical, it's not even looks like their normal food plan to let go of the weight. Hi Candy, glad to have you here. So, don't make any radical changes to your food plan. Go back to what you were doing before the celebration, the holiday, the vacation. We want to starve ourselves because that's what we've done in the past. That's what our brain says we should do because that's the pathway. We want to, and it feels safe, so the mind goes, yeah, do that. But it's not safe because you won't stay with it long enough because you're hungry, you're starving. And then you'll feel all of these things all over again. Then you'll make, this is the brain again, then you'll make plans to be more radical with your food plan, or you'll exercise. You'll make the decisions to exercise X amount of hours a day. Stop doing that. Stop criticizing yourself. Food is meant to be a celebration of life, including sugar and potatoes and all of those things that you're probably told you can't eat or shouldn't eat on your food program. It is all meant to be a celebration of life. However, it's not my normal eating. And so therefore, I'm just going to go back to my normal eating. I'm going to go back to the style that I had on Friday, if it's been a weekend, or the week before, and the weight will start to dissolve because you're back to what you were normally with without radical changes. So you need to stop that. And it really is a need. You need to stop that. Now what's going to happen is your brain's going to get all freaked out because, like I said, the normal habit is, I've screwed up, I'm off my diet, so I need to be radical changes, and it's going to be uncomfortable. So be prepared for that. Just going back to your normal way of eating is going to be uncomfortable for the brain for the first day, 2 or 3. The other thing that's going to happen is, depending on what you ate and how much you ate, it may have shocked the body a little bit. So you might feel uncomfortable, bloated, your stomach might be protruding a little bit further out than normal. And you may have cravings like crazy, and we're going to do a little tapping about that in a little bit. So you may have cravings because your brain and your body's craving those foods. A lot of times, as most of us know, they are, and a lot of times there are certain food combinations in prepared food that will create additional cravings because they need to sell more food. And they want you to crave it. So they want you to see it on the grocery store shelf and then want it because your body has learned about what that is. And then you say, I'll have a little bit, and that is a full-blown out of control eating, because that's what the food is created to create more cravings. And that's really well known as statistics. You can go look it up, research it. So be aware of that your body's going to, I'll use the word detox. Okay, so detox. It's going to detox some because you're going back to your normal eating. And maybe, hi Mitch, good to see you. You've overdone it with a few carbs or some sugar, potatoes, because I don't eat potatoes, so that kind of throws my body off. So be prepared for that and be gentle with yourself. Again, stop the criticism, stop the judgment. It is your body detoxing. It's nothing wrong with you. And those cravings are your body's detoxing. So it's psychological, it is emotional, and it is physical when we go back to our regular eating. So be prepared, especially good morning, Mitch, especially if you've eaten something that you're sensitive to. So I'll give you an example. I am sensitive to sugars like cane sugars and beet sugars, and which are in almost every product, corn syrup, and all types of maple syrup. All of those kind of things will spike my blood sugar, and then when I drop, that creates anxiety, it creates sadness, it creates depression. So those feelings that you may be having a little bit later, or maybe even this morning, are from your body detoxing. So, and because your body's detoxing and it's uncomfortable, the mind's going to say, well, eat more of it, and then we'll feel better. And you will for a little bit, and then it will change again. So depending on what your sensitivity is, in reality, we could be sensitive to foods that we considered healthy at one point. So I am sensitive to watermelon. I notice that I get this tightness in my throat. It's not life-threatening. It took me years. Someone's either flying out or flying in this morning. A lot of activity this weekend. Bye-bye. Safe travels. So I am sensitive to watermelon. At one point, on many of the other diets that I was on, watermelon was considered pretty much a free food because you could eat tons of it with very few calories. But it's also very sugar intensive. So, and for whatever reason, I get this tightness in my throat, not life-threatening. It took me a long time to realize that I get that after eating any kind of melon. So you may be sensitive to something you ate physically. Wow, the sun's getting in my eyes. And so be aware of that. So the 3 things you don't do is you stop criticizing yourself, stop judging yourself. Naturally thin people do go off their diets. They eat more than they, I'm going to use the word should have, but that's not really, I mean, they were just celebrating, or they drank more than normal. They did both, eat and drink more than normal. And so it's just part of the normal process. So stop beating yourself up over it. It's part of the process. It's part of who we are. It's a part of life. And I've been on programs before where I've been to parties and tried to stay on program as much as possible, but I was starving because there wasn't a whole lot to eat. So be mindful about what you're choosing, but stop beating yourself up over it. Don't weigh yourself. That's just insanity. I may have to move over a little bit. Let's see if this helps. There we go. As I get all leveled back up again. So stop weighing yourself. That's just insanity, because what's going to happen? You've put on weight. You can feel it, but it's probably not fat. It depends on how long you've been eating this way. If you've been on vacation, there might be some fat that's returned, but most of the time it's bloat, it's water retention. And if you weigh yourself, you're going to feel horrible. And then you're going to do the 3rd thing I'm telling you not to do, making radical decisions about your food plan and your exercise plan. Go back to where it was prior to, whether that's Friday or whether that's the week before, and start start watching what you're feeling and thinking. Like I said, the reactions of detox are both physical, emotional, and mental. And so watch those and be an observer rather than involved in. Be an observer. What I mean by that is watch what your body's doing and go, oh, okay, that's just detox. I'm experiencing cravings because I'm detoxing. I'm anxious, or I'm angry, or I'm sad, or whatever emotion comes up. That's detoxing. And stop criticizing yourself. So let's do some tapping. Remember, there's 3 areas of cravings. One is called trophies. That means food is a reward. One is called time, which is there's a time of day that you always go for something, whether it's 4 o'clock for a cocktail or 5 o'clock for a cocktail, or whether it is, and then it ends up in 2 and 3, or it's, for me, it was always like evening, so 9:30 at night. I had this insatiable desire to eat something, even though if I was still full. So it's trophies, timing, and oh my gosh. It's the one that I always remember. Triggers. That's the one I always remember. Triggers are from sight, smell, mouth hunger, all of those type of hungers that we have. So you go buy something like Subway and it smells amazing. So the smell of bread creates a trigger and a craving. Or you see something, commercials, you see it, it creates a craving. Mouth hunger is that need to chew something. So there's that part as well. All right, so let's do some tapping. So you're going to fall into one of those 3 categories. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Just do it anyway. You can guess for now if you don't know for sure. And I'm going to make some assumptions because of my enjoying life over the weekend. I ate late at night. So what that does, it kind of brings back the craving in most cases to continue to eat late at night. So I'm suspecting that I'm going to have cravings tonight. I might not. But why risk it, right? So we're going to do some tapping for timing. I'll do some for triggers, and I'll do some for trophies. Trophies is using food as a reward. So that's, you had a piece of cake, so now you want another piece of cake because you had a really rough day, because it's, in this case, you're recording, it's Monday. Those type of excuses. So starting on the karate chop, even though I know I'm going to want more sugar, my body's going to want it, because that's how it is. Even though I have this craving for sugar, it's okay. Even though in the past I would have created crazy rules that I would have never been able to stick with more than a few hours or a few days, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. These triggers, I'm going to need something tonight, just because. Side of your eye. Using food as a reward. Under your eye. Smelling food drives me crazy. I have to have it if I smell it. I know I'm going to need something tonight. That's just my pattern. Here's your lips. I'm going to feel like I need to take radical action. Collarbone. What if I don't? And your arm. What if I don't have any cravings tonight? Keep going. What if the leftover cake in the refrigerator from the weekend or the holiday doesn't really bother me? Eyebrow. What if I can feel safe today? What if, no matter what happens at work today or in my life today, I can resist? I won't even think about using food as a reward. Underneath your eye. I am really looking forward to going back to my normal eating for weight loss. Who knows? I might need something tonight to eat, but what if I don't? Near your lips. I'll be able to recognize the cravings are just detox, and I am safe. Collarbone. I don't need to reward myself with food. I am safe. And on your arm. I don't have to weigh myself. I'm okay. We're going to do one more round, because remember, we always do these in threes, and even I didn't start out with, even though we're still doing our third round of points. These triggers, I still have the leftover food in the fridge, and it's going to haunt me. What if it doesn't? I normally want something to eat at a certain time after I've gone, let's use the term, off program, cheated, whatever your term is for that. What if I don't? On your arm. I don't have to judge myself. I don't have to criticize myself for what I drank or ate. It's done. It's over. On your nose. And I am simply aware of how my body's reacting and how it's detoxing. I'm aware of the emotions that it's bringing up, and I can release them. I'm aware of all these crazy things I would have done in the past, weighing myself, judging myself, creating radical actions, and I don't have to. I am safe and under your arm. It is safe for me to just observe, and if it does happen, know I am safe. And then take a deep breath. So there you go. 3 things you don't want to do after splurging, whether it's a meal, a weekend, or a week or 2 while you've been gone, is don't judge yourself or criticize yourself. That just puts you in a pattern of making radical decisions and radical changes that are not going to support you in the long run. Don't weigh yourself. Most of what you're feeling, because you're probably feeling maybe a little bit heavy, is bloat, water retention. Depending on how long or you've been away from your food plan, it could be a few extra pounds, but it's probably not as many as you think or feel it is. So don't weigh yourself for a few more days. And then the third one just slipped my mind, because I was just thinking about a story. My husband just went to the doctor. We don't have a scale in our house, and he's been feeling a little bloaty and thought he had gained a lot of weight, and actually he weighs the same, so it is just bloat. So it's okay. It's not going to be that big deal. It's not life-threatening. And don't make radical changes. That's the third. Don't make radical changes. Don't go on some strict program. Don't start exercising 2 to 3 hours a day. Whatever it was you used to do in the past, it will make your brain very, very uncomfortable. And recognize that. Be an observer. Notice your emotions. Notice the desire that you have to go on some kind of radical change, to maybe just eat radishes all day. That's just silliness. Don't do that. Go back to your normal eating pattern. So, 3 things you're not supposed to do when you had a day that, or a week, or a meal, or however it is that you ate things that are normally are not on your food program, or drank more than you normally would, to help you ease back into weight loss safely and permanently. I'm going to leave you with a few seconds so you can just enjoy the beauty of the green, as I'm out here sweating already, because it is really humid. But I wanted to bring a little bit of peace for you. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And by the way, if you know anyone that's suffering with cravings and wants to release weight, crushcravings.com. Tell them to go there and sign up for the opt-in, and it has a video series to show them how to crush cravings. It's a first step, I think, to helping help people release weight on a permanent basis. So please share this. Until next time, sending love.